Hello and welcome everyone to the Warriors in Business podcast. I'm Jordan Fuller, one of the hosts for this show, and we are super excited to have you join us today for this first inaugural episode for the podcast. And this podcast is the official podcast of Bravari. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about what is Bravari, the Bravari online marketplace, which is a new, exciting venture that we are very excited to be embarking upon, which is designed to impact and serve military, veteran, and first responder businesses. So in order to facilitate that discussion, we are going to be speaking with the founder of Bravari, Todd Fuller, who is also, for full disclosure, my dad. So he will be taking us through the details of what is the Bravari online marketplace, why does it provide value and impact for military, veteran, and first responder businesses, and how they can get involved with this incredible mission. So without further ado, let's roll right into the interview. All right, well, we have Todd Fuller here in the studio, and he's going to be talking with us today about the Bravari online marketplace.
Yep.
But first and foremost, I have to ask a fun question.
Okay.
Tell us, so Bravari doesn't look like the normal spelling Bravery. It looks like Bravari, Bravari. So how did that come about?
Yeah. It's not the first time I've heard that. Let me tell you. That's the truth is that, Bravari.com was not exactly available for purchase. Let's just say that. So, but really that thought process was, when the brand was really important, very, very, very fundamentally important to, to me personally and to the company and to the mission. And we started thinking about, really we strategically took a long time to make sure that we got that right, or we were trying to get it the best we can. And, we started looking at the kind of the DNA makeup of the individuals. What were the commonalities with military, veterans, first responders? And it's, you think of things like honesty, integrity, bravery, right? All of these things, selflessness. And so those were the fundamental commonalities and DNA characteristics of these individuals. So it came back to Bravari. That was the one that just kind of kept resonating the most when we were going through this exercise. So then when you land on something like that, the normal spelling wasn't available. And I give credit to my wife. She's the one that actually found the Bravari, .com was available. And that was just it. It was like all of these individuals, these selfless individuals who have served, or do serve our country, they're brave, even though they don't like to admit it, even though most of them are very humble, and that's great. But, they're, in my mind, in our minds as civilians, let's just be honest, they're all freaking brave for what they've done, and we appreciate that. And so that's how we landed on the interesting spelling Bravari. But
Right.
Hey, my mission now is to where we're going to hope to change the way people think of the spelling of bravery, in the years to come. So we'll have some fun with that.
That'll be a lot of fun, definitely. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and what you do?
Yeah, so for the last 30 plus years, I've been in the financial technology sector, particularly in what's called the payments and acquiring space. I have a little bit of a banking background as well too. And, in that journey, I have dealt with literally probably, I lost count. It's somewhere between 10 and 15,000 small to medium-sized business owners around the country. So they were all entrepreneurs. And dealing with them, that's why I've loved what I've done, because I'm dealing with these individuals who are risk takers in our society. They're the ones who said, I don't want the status quo. I'm going to go out and make something happen. I'm going to build something. I'm going to create something cool, new. I'm going to create jobs. I'm going to, not have a cap of income for my family. And they kind of have the mentality that they want to take the kind of their financial future in their own hands instead of letting someone else dictate it. And that's just kind of a common thread between all these individuals. And because of that, years ago, I started thinking about, I was talking to my wife one time and I said, I'm going to, one of these days, I'm going to come up with a new business that will truly make positive impacts on people's lives. Just moving money between points A and point B, or being a banker and, doing loans and all of that fun stuff. That was all great and fun and good experience. But I wanted to do something more. I truly wanted to do something that would serve people and that would make positive impacts on people's lives. And that's where military, veteran, first responder ideas, came in with that thought process. And I
Right.
have in our family, as you well know, we have both veteran and first responder service histories with some of our family members. And I really started thinking about that. And then COVID hit, and that even kind of exacerbated that whole thought process because we all saw and had a front row seat to how all of these, that whole period of time were really negatively impacting business owners, especially small and medium-sized business owners, and trying to stay afloat and trying to feed their family, and things like
Right.
that. And
Yeah.
then, and so that was kind of just an accelerator, if you will, of the whole thought process. So this whole idea of the Bravery Online Marketplace, that's how it's kind of formed together over the last couple of years, is that we want to make positive everyday financial impacts on the lives of military, veteran, and first responders, both as consumers and both also as business owners. And that is what the Bravery Online Marketplace is about.
That's awesome. So let's dive into that. Can you give us a high-level overview of the Bravery Online Marketplace and some of the main features for it?
Yeah, so the Bravery Online Marketplace is a marketplace of buyers and sellers. That's what we're creating, and where we can connect the two groups of individuals and business owners. And so the Bravery Online Marketplace is promoting and elevating military, veteran, and first responder business owners so that we can get them out and let the community, let individuals and buyers know who they are. One of the cool things that I found through personal conversations and surveys over the last several years is that when you survey the general population in America, okay, and the adult population, and when you ask them, do you have a reasonable or strong desire to actually make purchases from military, veteran, or first responder business owners? 74% of them say yes, which was astounding. That
Oh,
one
wow.
blew me away. Yeah. So
Yeah.
in the actual MVFR community itself, it's over 90%, but the general population it's roughly 3 out of 4 people. And then when you dig a little deeper, you ask, why don't you more often? And it's always the same answer. We don't know who they are. We don't know where to find them. So Bravery is going to help solve that problem. So again, it's a marketplace of buyers and sellers. Right now, military, veteran, first responder business owners will be listed in the marketplace, and we're going to connect them with buyers, i.e., we consumers, who are going to make purchases of their goods and services through and connect with them through the marketplace.
That's awesome. And you really brought up a great point of right now, there's not a current means to be able to find military, veteran, first responder businesses very easily. You'd have to do a lot of homework just to find them, Google searches and whatnot, but there's accessible means that you can go and find them, and
Right.
to be able to buy their products and their services, to buy American, support American in that kind of way. And with that high of a demand, it's amazing how difficult it is to find them nowadays, which is where Bravery will step in to bridge that gap.
100%. I mean, that's at the heart of why we created it and why we're developing it and why we're going to be launching it soon. Absolutely.
Yeah. So then how will Bravery market and promote military, veteran, first responder businesses?
Yeah, good question. So we are going to use, pretty much every means possible that we have access to. Direct email. We're going to be doing social media platforms. We will be doing, SEO. We will be doing things like this podcast. I mean, the Warriors in
Right.
Business podcast is again just one more engagement tool and one more engagement strategy that allows, us to bring on MVFR business owners and interview them, on the podcast. And because something that's really important to understand is that, again, MVFR business owners, they're entrepreneurs at the end of the day. And entrepreneurs love associating with other entrepreneurs to share challenges, success stories, just get to know them, networking, all of these things. And so Warriors in Business podcast is a tool for that. So we will be interviewing an MVFR business owner and asking them these, very fundamental questions. And, hey, what's your story? Why did you choose to become an entrepreneur instead of going the employment route?
Right.
Why did you choose that particular business? What's some of your top success stories, and what's some of your top challenges? How'd you overcome it? And what's your advice to aspiring entrepreneurs? These are things to help motivate and educate, the listeners. And we're going to have a lot of fun with it. and it's going to be fascinating because people are just fascinating, and these MVFR business owners are going to be, I think, even a step up on the fascination scale, just for the ones that that we're already talking to and we're already kind of in the queue for coming on the show and being interviewed. So we're looking forward to that. So all that to say that we're going to do an all of the above approach, SEO, paid advertising, all of the things like any other business does. And we're going to basically invest our own dollars in trying to promote that because we need traffic, buyers, consumer traffic to drive to the marketplace so that we create that opportunity to connect them with these MVFR business owners.
Absolutely. Great stuff. So for our listeners who are military veteran, first responder business owners, or who want to support businesses like that, how can an MVFR business participate and maximize their financial results for their business on the Bravari online marketplace?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, the obvious answer to that is make sure that you join the community. Make sure you go to joinbravari.com, and that's JOINBRAV as in Victor, ARI, joinbravari.com. Reserve your free business listing right now as the time of this podcast. That's our new marketing site for pre-launch. And so you need to first get involved and reserve your business listing. Secondly, once we launch the marketplace, so the marketplace as of the time of this episode is probably it's mostly complete. So it's being developed over the last year and a half. So as we get close to the actual official launch, when it does launch, we will be notifying all of the business owners who reserve their free business listing to, hey, here's how you can go in, log in, manage your own listing. And they want to, you want to add as much content from what we call the data fields content, meaning your contact information, phone, website, business category, products, product names, all of these things. You have to think about, just like when we go on to some of the other more traditional platforms or e-commerce platforms that we buy from, how do you think about how we as a consumer or you as a consumer shop? What are those keywords that you type in? What are the categories? So whether I'm taking my spouse out for a local dinner and I want to go to a seafood restaurant and look for an MVFR business owner that fits that criteria, or I'm shopping online, buying, whatever the widget or gadget is, or maybe it's a service, maybe it's a plumber, maybe it's an electrician, lawn care, whatever that may be. So think about how people naturally search for businesses. And so we'll give them within the listing, the management listing feature of the marketplace, they'll be able to go in and create those types or add those types of data fields so that they can get higher rankings. In addition to that, the only other point I would add on top of that is that we'll also be creating more opportunities within the marketplace to kind of, let's say, boost your business up. There might be some banner and paid advertising opportunities, things like that will come. And that comes a little bit later. In the beginning, it's just a listing phase, and then we'll continue to hear feedback and desires from the community on what they would like to see added. We have our own roadmap, but we're also going to very much be in tune to what our members will say and try to add those features that make sense in the marketplace as we go.
That's great. That's awesome. So just as a recap, how MVFR businesses can participate is to go to joinbravari.com. That's joinbravari.com to sign up for a free business listing.
That's right.
Yep. So that actually leads me to another question in means of being able to promote and support military, veteran, first responders, which is that there are civilian businesses out there who wish to support this community. So will non-MVFR businesses, civilian businesses, be able to participate at some point in the Bravari Online Marketplace?
Good question. Yeah, good question. And the short answer is yes. And here's the reason why. Yes, on the business side, we want to elevate and promote MVFR business owners. That's at the foundational level of our business plan and of our DNA on how we elevate and promote them and connect them and basically help them build their business and get exposure. But at the same time, going back to part of what our core mission is, which is, helping to make positive everyday financial impacts on the lives of military, veteran, first responders and their families, you have to think about the consumer side. So the marketplace is going to be buyers and it's going to be, sellers and it's going to be buyers. Buyers are just simply consumers like we are, right? And so on the consumer side, we want to create value for them as well too. So we have several very exciting, what's going to be very impactful, let's just say rewards that will be coming, we'll be announcing soon, that we'll be creating for them in the marketplace. So when a non-MVFR, or also known as a civilian-owned business, whenever they want to come into the marketplace, we're going to let them, because they represent about 92% of the overall businesses in the U.S., where MVFR business owners is, give or take 1 or 2%, it's roughly 8%. So we definitely, that 92% is a big number. And we want to, give them the opportunity to come in. But the requirement is going to be, they're going to have some very basic requirements and fundamental requirements, which are whenever they come in, they will have to agree to give some very impactful, extraordinary benefits to the consumer buyers that come into the marketplace, the MVFR consumer buyers in particular. So that's kind of their, hall pass, if you will, for them to be able to come in. Their ticket into the marketplace is going to be, creating value for the MVFR buyers in the Bravari online marketplace.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah. And that, I think, speaks to how we're thinking conceptually on a well-rounded basis, how we want to support military, veteran, first responders, whether they're consumers or they are business owners themselves.
Absolutely. The
Definitely.
entire community. Yeah.
The entire community.
Yep.
So with that said, for those listening, what are some action steps that they can take today?
Well, first and foremost, again, whether you're a consumer or whether you are a MVFR business owner, you can go to join Bravari, Bravari.com, and you can join the community. And so if you're a consumer, you can just go to the join page, and that way we'll give you news and updates on the launch of the Bravari Marketplace coming soon. And if you're an MVFR or even a non-MVFR business owner, you can go to the website also, and there's specific pages. There's an MVFR business page, and then there is an all businesses page where where any business owner can sign up and reserve their spot now to get in. So we really are hoping to get drive traffic, tell your family and friends and your social network about us, share the Bravari social links and social sites, with your peer group. We would really appreciate that. So it's all about getting this grassroots effort, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to be in the position to where we are heavily dependent upon your traditional social media platforms. Another thing I want to say, Jordan, is that the Bravari Marketplace, in addition to helping solve that problem and bridging that gap between consumers who want to support MVFR business owners, that is one thing, yes. But another thing too is that in today's world, we consumers want to be even more so than ever very strategic and very intentional with our purchasing dollars. So more people, regardless of where you land on the political spectrum, okay, it doesn't matter which way you lean towards, okay, or how you associate with. At the end of the day, fundamentally, consumers are now thinking twice and 3 times and 4 times about who they are purchasing from, right? Because whoever they purchase from, those are purchasing dollars and profits that are going into an organization's coffer, right? And so because of that, people are thinking more about and being more what I call intentional about their purchasing dollars. So the Bravari Online Marketplace is another opportunity for consumers to be able to connect with, when I say connect with, as in get exposure to and be able to use their purchasing dollars to support these business owners. They need products and services. So it's a choice of who am I going to buy those products and services from, right? Just fundamentally, we as consumers, that's the way we think. But we haven't really, in the years past in history, we haven't thought about that as much. But now that is really a top thing on consumers' thought process whenever they whip out their debit or credit card or cash or whatever it is, and they make purchases. So Bravari is another opportunity for them to strategically and intentionally purchase from people that they want to support and that they believe, or they believe, have more of a like-minded value set than they do. So that's something else that is going to be very important for the marketplace.
No, of course, yes. Thank you for sharing that part, because that is on a lot of people's minds, and to be able to give them now the means to point their dollars and send their dollars to where they want it to go with people with like-minded values, and that is truly supportive of our country. This Bravari will most definitely accomplish that.
Absolutely.
So yes, like you said, for everybody listening, please go to joinbravari.com to sign up for your free business listing. And check us out on social media. We will include links in the description below for the various platforms that we are on. To please share with your friends and family, along with your fellow military veteran and first responder peers. And as well, please share this podcast with them so that they can hear about this story, as well as being able to tune in for future interviews with military veteran and first responder business owners, which we are very excited to be speaking with them and hearing their backgrounds and their stories.
Yes, we are.
Most definitely. So, well, thank you for joining us on the podcast today. It was really cool talking with you and to hear the genesis story for Bravari.
Absolutely. Had a lot of fun. We look forward to it, and we look forward to these future podcasts.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. So, for everyone listening, thank you again for tuning in to this first inaugural episode for the Warriors in Business podcast. And until next time, God bless. Y'all be good.
I can feel it deep in my bones, rising up and taking control. Like a sickness running through my veins. It's a force that's pulling on the reins.